There we go. Recording in progress. So we're officially on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, and welcome. So Laura, what's today about?
Well, today we're going to be talking about Alfred, and this is on the back of our London's Calling Demo Jam win. So Alfred enabled us to bring home the Demo Jam award. And so thank you everyone for interacting with us at London's Calling if you did. And we hope you enjoyed the session. I believe London's Calling did do a live stream, so that recording from them might be up soon. Just go over today's agenda. We'll tell you a little bit more about NativeVideo and what we're all about, and also delve into some of Alfred's core business values, impact and functionality through some demos, such as sales, field service, recruiting, etc. But Luke will delve more into that later. And then we'll finish off with a quick Q&A where you can give us some questions that you may have about Alfred and its functionality. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
So I think it's over to you now, Luca.
Yes, thank you very much, Laura, and thank you for coordinating also the questions. It looks like a relatively intimate session today. So if you have questions, just feel free to pop them into the chat, and we will either address them if they're urgent during the demo, or we'll look at them at the end all together and kind of as we wrap up this session. We have a lot to cover. As Laura was mentioning, first a quick intro about NativeVideo. You may already know we are the #1 platform that brings audio and video together as native functionalities to extend the functionalities of your Salesforce platform. We're on a mission really to transform the way in which companies and their customers create and share information on Salesforce. And we've been in the business for a few years now. We've been working. We have the luck of working with many global companies, many very interesting companies. But today is all about Alfred, and we want to kind of capture the essence of Alfred using this very interesting framework that I'm sure you're familiar with, which is the start with why, kind of brokered into the I guess the business sphere by Simon Sinek, and he focuses on why. And if we think about the why of Alfred, we find reasons for Alfred to exist in adoption, in boosting adoption, productivity, and data quality, which in turn transform customer insight, and which in turn improve the employee engagement. So it's all about collaboration, making it easier, making it faster, more efficient, and more productive for users. We do that by audio-based input with no typing for a change, with the ability to do it from mobile and desktop, and we automate updates and add more context thanks to AI. What it is, kind of the external circle there is a one-click voice-based notes solution that is GPT-powered with sentiment transcriptions, with executive summary, next steps, and follow-up email drafted. And it operates in multi-languages, and it can actually be applied to any object, any process, and any activity. Let's actually look at that as this slide suggests. It's really the combination. It's a good summary, this one, of the combination of 3 top technologies. One at the core, at the center, there's our NativeVideo solution. And then it's integrated with both OpenAI solution and Salesforce, of course. In the demo, the contexts that we will look into are that of sales, of recruitment, of service. Our customer support agent will be using Alfred, and then field service will be out in the field with our users, helping them capture more information thanks to Alfred. And with this in mind, let's actually go one by one through them. So I have this in the middle. I'll move it out of the way. Now, first use case, we mentioned the one about sales, and this is probably the most obvious one for Alfred. It's the one that actually won the demo jam, the example. And just to dive right into it, the context is that I just had a conversation, a meeting, an interaction, could be an email, could be a phone call, could be a video call with my client, and I want to bring an update that I shared with the client, or that I gathered from my meeting with the client, into my Salesforce. And normally I either don't do it because I'm a lazy salesperson, and you might know a few of those, or it's just too tricky and I don't want to spend more time doing admin. So I might actually push it to the end of the week, or I'll do it at another time. And by doing so, I may lose some important information. So here's Alfred that makes it super easy and super straightforward for our sales reps, in this case, to create a new update. And the update will go that I met with my contact at the Acme, and we discussed about this opportunity that is open for a partnership with them. They're looking for 600 widgets, and they reconfirmed their requirements to me in terms of productivity and adoption for Salesforce. We also talked about other areas of the business that might be interested in an impact from our technology, and that will be for another conversation that we need to actually also schedule with more stakeholders from different business units. But specifically for this opportunity, the specific update is that we now have the CFO approval, and we should be ready to send over a detailed proposal and connect with the IT department for a security review. Now, this is a relatively straightforward update, possibly similar, possibly maybe wildly different from the ones that you would expect from one of your sales guys. If you're looking at this, recorded or live right now, you can probably relate it to your own operations. What is happening right now, as our technology goes, the first step is to capture the essence of this update in its raw form, let's say, and that's the audio, and that is immediately available for us thanks to our technology here in our record, connected to the opportunity, of course, and within the opportunity. But most importantly, we're now, as you can see here, there's some magic in progress. Let me make it a bit bigger here. There's some magic in progress where we're capturing the essence of the information of the update, and we're transforming that into insightful information. We will see how that comes to life. It will be in the form of an executive summary. We will also be extracting some next steps, and we will be drafting an email for our client where we update them on what is happening and what was the debrief from the call. So let me actually test this. It's still magic in progress. It typically takes around a minute to a minute and a half for every minute recorded, so we should be very close to having an update here. Now, what's interesting, and maybe while we wait for this, as we can see, we have a contact that is connected as a contact role to this specific opportunity, and that's Amy. And if I click on Amy contact, what you see here, apart from a video that I probably sent her a while ago, you can see that there's the same update is now captured both under the opportunity as well as under the contact. And that actually helps us with kind of automating the update without the need of orchestrating between the opportunity or the contact and look for where's the latest update, because they all converge if all the records are connected in the Salesforce org. Now I'm a bit puzzled, and this is the beauty of doing live demo. It's taking a bit longer, so we might actually come back to it in a second and see what it looks like. In the meantime, as I give it a last go, okay. In the meantime, let me go over to a second example that I wanted to show you. So this is connected to sales. It's the most straightforward. Salesperson bring in an update into their opportunity, creating a new activity, creating a new set of information that is there for their client, for the rest of the team internally to connect and understand what's going on with this opportunity. Now, in the second scenario that we're looking at in this demo is that of a candidate. A candidate, in this case, a Jonathan candidate. And the reason why we're looking at a candidate is because there are a lot of companies that are using Salesforce or a Salesforce-based solution to manage their applications for new jobs. There are both large recruitment organizations that are using Salesforce as their database, as their ATS, it's called applicant tracking system. And in that scenario, there's a specific obvious practice, which is interacting with candidates and then bringing notes back into Salesforce after a conversation with a candidate. And this is now possible also with Alfred, and the same applies here. The example that we have now, and the one that we will be creating, is that of a debrief after a conversation with Jonathan, who is a great candidate for this opportunity. During my conversation with Jonathan, we talked about his personal life and what is going on with his family and why I moved closer to the area where the job is right now. Then we went into the specific skills that he acquires and the experience that is relevant for this particular position that he's interviewing for. And then we went into credentials and references, and we talked about a bit about that. And then we also confirmed availability and salary for Jonathan. All checks out and all seems aligned with what the client expects. Now, in this scenario, as you can see, the underlying technology is exactly the same, but the information that we are capturing, the information that we're asking the system to capture is different, right? So the difference is that in this case, it's a process, a much more structured process of probably tens of calls with candidates that are happening as we're recruiting maybe on behalf of a customer or internally for our organization. So we're going through multiple candidates and we need to capture that information, bring it back into a structured database like this one, and have given the possibility also to other people to interact with it and understand what's going on. And that is what we were able to capture here. As we expect, there's some more magic in progress here. Actually, I want now, before we go back there, let me wrap up this. So why is this relevant in recruitment? And well, again, the technology is the same, and probably also the purpose, the ultimate goal is the same: saving time and bringing consistency and full context to our updates in Salesforce. In this particular use case for recruitment, what we understand is that if there's one thing that recruiters like to do is talking, and they probably don't like as much typing. And we, dealing with our clients, we understand that there are many different ways of dealing with updates after a candidate conversation. And Alfred is there to kind of streamline that and make sure that everything is captured in the right way, in a consistent way, and it's reported in a much better shape here, maybe with an executive summary that is kind of client ready as well, if we want to share with the client externally, or if we want to pass it on to a hiring manager internally. So that's the recruitment use case. Before we move on, I want to go back to this one and give it a bit of a refresh and see if we were able. No, this is still processing, so we'll let it go for another second or two. We'll come back to it later. That might be taking the long way around. Now, in the interest of time, and because we have a lot to cover, I want to move on to our third use case. So we saw the sales use case, the most classic, the one that actually won the demo jam. Recruitment, very similar technology applied in a very different context, right? It's post-candidate interview. And now we are also kind of bridging over to a new scenario. And this is a service scenario. We are in a case we're logging information about an interaction with a client who's reporting an issue. Familiar with service, the case is central to the operations that relate to customer support. In this particular case, the client has reported an issue related to an asset, and we may have interacted with our clients over phone or via email as well. We might have had an email exchange, or maybe we're using a chat solution. Many different things that probably and very likely are capturing information and bringing it back into the case. But what we need, especially if we are escalating the case, for instance, we're involving other people across the team, what we want to do is to have an opportunity to capture the essence of the interactions with the client, where it all started and where we are at now, and why we are transferring this and we are involving maybe in an escalation process other colleagues across the organization, because what they need is information fast. They don't need to spend too much time going through all the email thread or kind of looking at number of notes scattered across the case. But what they want to have is something that Alfred is very good at creating, which is an executive summary. So in this particular case, we're recording a case summary where maybe after closing a case, or as we are dealing with a case and we need to escalate to someone else in the team, we are capturing the essence of the why the client reported an issue with their asset, what type of issue was reported, and how we have dealt with that so far, and why we're escalating, or why we closed the case. Now, all of this will be captured, and then, as you can expect, again, the Alfred will go away, will do its magic, will apply it to the recording that we have, and we'll bring it back into our case, enabling everybody who's dealing with the case and interacting with the case now or in the future to truly understand what's been going on at a glance, with 4 lines written for us. Now I'll refresh this just to kind of show you that the audio is being captured, and there's some more magic in progress, as we saw earlier happening. But I'm conscious of time, and I want to move on to another use case, which will take us mobile, and will enable us to go on mobile. Because now, after having talked about sales, recruitment, and customer support service in the Service Cloud, we're extending the Service Cloud to field service. And in field service, we have different objects. In our example here, we have a service appointment. It could be a work order, and we're going mobile. So for this, we're actually going mobile properly using my mobile device here, and looking at this scheduled service appointment that I have, I'm simulating that I am actually a service representative, a field representative from this company, and I have all the details about my intervention today. I know where I need to go, I know what I need to do, and maybe as I'm either during my visit or in a post-visit scenario, as I'm walking back to my van, I have the opportunity to record a quick note, and I can use my you can see here from the actions, very easy, very accessible, and I'm launching Alfred. We saw this also in the demo jam, the example on mobile. And what I'm recording now is my visit update. After talking to the client, I understood what the problem was with the asset, and I was able to fix it. I replaced the part, the valve in particular, and now everything is working fine. And I recommended the client to check the pressure for the next couple of weeks, but all should be good to go. Now, again, a relatively little contextualized update from me in this particular example, but I think you see and you understand the power of enabling our users in the field to also use Alfred, so that they don't have to type, and they might actually be prone to writing more than just a one line, which typically reads fixed or all good now, and maybe contextualize it a bit more, even just for 20 seconds like I did there. And then, as expected, once again, this was actually super fast. The recording is now available in our service appointment. It's available here. Discussed the issue with the asset, and was able to fix it by replacing a valve, and what I recommended to the client. And now, if I take you back for the very last step, the creation of a service report enables us not only to capture our thoughts and our notes, but also to bring those notes automatically into, and this is me creating the service report, bring these notes as a text update into, and you see the generating report, to bring that into the report, the PDF that will be likely sent to the customer to document our visit, our field visit. So if I go back to the service appointment here and I go to the top, we should have access to it in in a second. It's still generating the report. There we go. So now it's ready. So if I refresh this page, we'll be able to see it in a second. I just want to very quickly show you. There we go. So that note that we created, that we put it under Alfred, and Alfred's summary is actually the go, the note that actually starts with a go for whatever reason, and it summarizes very nicely, much better than fixed or it should work now, and it has a bit more context to it, enabling again also field users to take full advantage of our Alfred solution. Now, conscious of time, I also believe there might be a question in the chat, so I'll stop and we'll open up for questions, I guess.
I just had a quick one, Luke. Would you mind going through the follow-up and the transcription summary, please, on one of the Alfred notes, just so we can see all the details that Alfred can provide?
Of course, of course. So let's actually try and do that here. Let me see if this has now updated. No, it's still not updated. So something I'll look into that. But if we go into the contact, this was the example of a candidate. We obviously have the full transcription. So this is everything that we said and that was captured on the fly. This was summarized very nicely by Alfred. And then what Alfred has done as well, Alfred has been able and working, with us as a co-pilot, our co-pilot, to highlight a few next steps that are isolated for us, and they're helping us to keep track of what's next in our conversation. And also, very importantly, it's created a follow-up email that is drafted for us. Again, as our co-pilot, it's helping us to be a lot more productive by helping us kind of creating probably something that is 80 to 90% ready. And we can just simply maybe copy and paste into our Outlook and take it into obviously the hands of a client, in this case, maybe the hiring manager, as we are debriefing on a candidate in this example. In the sales example, it would be obviously closing the loop with our client likely, and kind of making sure that we continue the conversation there. Also, another couple of highlights maybe, as you can see what's in this component here. We see the running user, so that will be me in this case, the timestamp and the date stamp, and then we have a little dot next to the update, and that actually is an indication of the sentiment that is associated with this update. So in this particular case, Alfred deemed that this was a relatively neutral update. It wasn't, too happy or too enthusiastic, and therefore it wasn't green. So it can be green, amber, like in this case, or red. But it also wasn't negative. Just to close the loop on this, there wasn't anything suggesting to Alfred that it should be interpreted in a negative way, or that this is, for whatever reason, I may be a blocker, or something that is of a negative nature.
Cool, thank you.
Super. Any other questions from attendees? If not, we can think about and answer questions that tend to pop up with our clients as well.
I have one question. Can you hear me?
I believe you may be talking, but it's very far.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah.
Yes.
So once we get this transcript and summary, so how it can be used, maybe can we use this in some reporting or something like that? How we can make the best use of this summary and transcription after we have this audio thing?
That's a very good question. So I think the best practice that we've seen across our clients is really related to going from 0 to 1, as one client put it, meaning that up until that point, they had very little updates of the progress in sales or in their service practice and processes. So with Alfred, they were able to start to see more frequent updates, because Alfred makes it so easy for users to go and without even thinking, just laying out what their update is, and it makes it so easy to capture it because it's voice, and it also makes it very consistent in the way that it's reported in a form that is very accessible to anyone that has an interest in looking into it. So I would say the core value of where this information and what you make, how to make the most of it, is that it is self-contained and the information is captured in a sequential way, and it enables that update to happen in the first place. Now, the second part of my answer to you is it depends on where the use case sits. We've seen an example with the service report, where we're then making use of the elaborated Alfred note to send in a report ready to be sent out to the client. We're also seeing that some of our clients are actually using the executive summary in an update of an opportunity to capture and have an update on the status of the opportunity without talking directly to the sales rep. So it's really a collaboration exercise, and the text that is generated then, it will go in all the places that it needs to go with the help of the user. So again, in a co-pilot type of collaboration where AI is supporting productivity for the user. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, and one more thing is like, can this Alfred be in the page layout of only standard objects, or it can be anywhere else also?
So you can edit the page layout and drop the components. There are two components, to be a bit technical here: a recorder component and a player component. And they can be slotted anywhere on the page, on a standard object, on a custom object. You can drop them as part of a flow. The flexibility that comes with Salesforce is applied to a native solution like this one. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Yeah, and if in Sandbox we are using 5 users and testing it in Sandbox, can we use it again in production for 5 users?
Yes, actually, very good question. Both Sandbox and production, we provide Alfred free of charge for up to 5 users across an org. And this is kind of our invitation, I guess, to all Salesforce users to take advantage of this technology and make the most of it. And obviously, when there are more users, then that's where our paid solution comes to play a role, and there's only a marginal cost to be added, especially when we go to very high numbers of users. With some of our clients are distributing across very large teams, and that's where it will go beyond the free initial value proposition of only the first 5 users.
Okay, thank you so much. And if it is for 40 users approximately, like how much will be the cost?
So in terms of pricing, the pricing for the unlocking up to 25 users, so it will be 5 free, up to 25 is $599 per month. And then adding, I think it's I would need to make the calculation, but I'm estimating around possibly $800 for around 40 users maybe $750 per month for the whole org with 40-50 users. Those are the broadly speaking the parameters. So very accessible, very kind of not only easy to use and implement, but also I guess very easy to buy. compared to some of the solutions that are out there.
Okay, great. And if we want to have a demo session specifically to our org, so do we need to book for a demo session?
So yes, please. Actually, very good question, and maybe worth saying, everybody. The best course of action is for you guys to go and check out the AppExchange. Through the AppExchange, we will get in touch directly, as we did with you actually in the last couple of days, and that will enable us to schedule a one-to-one if it's needed, where we can provide more help, maybe do a customized demo, dig deeper into the way your setup works at the moment and how to best deploy Alfred across your org.
Did you want to share the slide where you provide all that information, Luca, just so it's easier for everyone to
Definitely.
see?
Good point. Where is it? Here it is. So the maybe this is the best way for us to part ways, as we will need to we've actually gone beyond time. Thank you very much for staying with us so long. There's some information here. If you actually go to your browser and you enter bit.ly, so bit.ly shortening, and then /get-alfred, that will take you to the AppExchange, and that's where you'll find the instruction on how to get Alfred, and then you receive some more information and instructions from us, and then we can connect directly and see that you make the most of Alfred and boost productivity, adoption for your users who will fall back in love with Salesforce and data quality and context.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. I have already installed everything in Sandbox. I'm yet to test, I'm unable to record the audio, maybe because I did not give access to myself to Alfred. I need to check on all those things. Yeah.
Let's definitely check it out. Thank you very much for bringing that up.
Yeah,
and thank you everybody who's attended and everybody who's watching the recording. Appreciate you taking the time, spending this afternoon with us, and well, look forward to hearing from you and making the most of our technology innovation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.